So within the Boruto community, the general consensus is that Amado is sus. We don't know how or why he is suspicious, but like Shikamaru stated, everything in the story thus far has sort of gone in his favour and aligned perfectly to his suspected master plan. He somehow managed to deceive a god and escape Kara and then end up under constant surveillance and protection from Konoha. This is all very convenient, but it isn't sufficient evidence to prove that Amado is actually going to be the main villain of Boruto. To be honest, a lot of the community's suspicions towards Amado kind of feels like a gut feeling. However, what I think points most towards Amado being the main villain would probably be he was the only person to find Shibai's body, and we are assuming that this body has been left on Earth for many years. I think this is extremely unlikely that no one had even come across Shibai's body and Amado was the first one to come across his body. I've seen a lot of theories saying that Amado is Shibai Otsutsuki, and I think if this was actually the case, it could be the biggest plot twist in Boruto history. Due to our speculations about Amado being Shibai, I feel like it's not going to hit as hard as the Boruto chapter 79 revelations did. If Amado was Shibai, it could parallel the war arc that we saw in Naruto, where Naruto and Sasuke were enemies, but they had to team up to defeat Madara and Kaguya. And then maybe after the war arc, it leaves potential for a Final Valley-esque fight between Boruto and Kawaki. This could also be why the village is destroyed in this time skip, as it could be Amado's doing rather than Kawaki's, which I think is much more likely. We know Kishimoto has taken a lot of aspects from Naruto and then put them into Boruto with similar fights and similar characters. For example, we can compare the likes of Sasuke and Kawaki being very similar. However, getting back to Amado actually being Shibai, there's actually a little bit of evidence that hints towards this being the case. If we look at the panel when Shibai was revealed by Amado, we could see that his beard is actually quite similar to Amado's. I know this evidence isn't very convincing and it's just very much speculation, but I feel like it could be a sign that Amado could be Shibai. I feel like it could make sense if Amado was Shibai, as we know that Shibai achieved enlightenment and abandoned the material world. However, perhaps if it was Amado, he could have realised that his true ambition was to actually bring back his daughter. And just because he had achieved enlightenment, there wasn't still that emptiness inside of him, as he knows his daughter is still not alive. I don't think this idea is entirely foolproof, as for one to achieve enlightenment, they need to lose their emotions and detach themselves from the material world. So if Amado did still feel this emptiness inside, it clearly showed him experiencing human emotions, which you wouldn't. We also know that Otsutsuki don't actually experience the normal human emotions such as sadness and love, and if Amado was mourning his daughter's death, then how would he be an Otsutsuki? I guess it could be considered that Otsutsuki are capable of experiencing these human emotions, it's just they aren't really likely to, as we know Kaguya experienced love and that's why she stayed on Earth rather than cultivating the chakra fruit. So there's a lot of arguments for and against, but perhaps something which I think the community has overlooked, that Amado actually changed Ada's memories or perception of the past. We know that Ada was asked to look into the past to confirm that Amado was actually telling the truth about his daughter, but we know that Shibai was capable of altering people's memories. Hence why Ada was able to activate this ability. Although we know Otsutskis aren't supposed to be affected by this, and we know Ada is actually part Otsutsuki. However, this doesn't entirely rule out this possibility, as Shibai's powers could be a lot more potent. Or it could be due to Ada actually being a cyborg, Amado rewrote her memories inside of the robotic kind of side of Ada. I think whether Amado is or isn't Shibai, I still foresee him being the main villain, as there is no real villains besides Kawaki that pose a threat to Boruto and Konoha. And I just don't feel like Kishimoto will make Kawaki the main villain, and rather similar to Sasuke was in Naruto. I think the end of the series could be very similar to Naruto, but there's a clash of ideologies between Kawaki and Boruto. It'd be a nice cyclical structure, as the main focus of Boruto was the ninja way, compared to using technology, and obviously Kawaki represents the technology and Boruto represents the true ninja way. We have already seen many clashes in ideology between the two, as when they were training together, Kawaki wanted to use his method of training, whereas Boruto was forcing Kawaki to do the more traditional way of training. This led to a mini kind of fight between Boruto and Kawaki, where ultimately Boruto ended up winning. So it could be a nice coming together, answering the question which one is better in the shinobi world. Is it ninja tech or the ninja way? Going back to Amado though, I think it could be very telling to see whether Amado is affected by what happened in chapter 79. It could be slipped into some chapters where Amado makes a mistake when referring to Kawaki as Kawaki rather than Boruto. It could be that Amado is unaffected, so he still wants to use Kawaki to revive his daughter, but he also doesn't want to reveal that he knows the truth. If he was truly affected by Ada's enchantment's abilities, he'd try and use Boruto's karma instead of Kawaki's. It would be interesting to see, if it got to it, would Boruto's karma work in the same way that Kawaki's would? Or, due to Momoshiki's presence still lingering inside of Boruto, would it fail to work? But I think that's a discussion to have in another video. If you want to see me discuss that in the future, let me know down below. If you have any other theories, make sure to leave them down below and I'll make sure to cover them in a future video. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.